Also, as I explained briefly yesterday, I've sort of justified this topic with a verse from Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says in the 6th chapter, I think it's verse 17, Yukta Haravihārasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu, yukta sapna bodhasya, yoga bhavati, dukkha ha. Dukkha ha. That ha at the end of the verse is quite important. It means taking away, removing. So dukkha ha means removing dukkha. What is dukkha? Misery, suffering, pain, all those things we don't like, all those things we would like to be free of. What is what is usually the opposite of dukkha? Sukha. Yeah. Actually, one explanation of the words, both words, is there's du and ka, and there's su and ka. And ka means ether, the atmosphere. And su means good. So good atmosphere, a good feel. And du is the opposite of that. So dukkha ha, we want to, I think everyone would be interested in removing misery. And Krishna gives this amazing little formula for how to do it. Yukta hara, first of all, he repeats the word yukta several times, 4 times. And yukta is related to the word yoga. Sometimes Krishna will speak of yoga yukta, being yoked in yoga. So it's just a form of yoga that's, okay, it's called the past passive participle in English. It can also mean something like engaged. But in this context, it can mean something like appropriate or moderate. So yukta ahara, ahara means eating, or more broadly it means consuming. We live, I don't know how much in Serbia, but in much of the Western world, we often speak of living in a consumer society. Everyone is consuming. So yuktahara is moderation in consumption. Yuktahara viharasya, and yukta applies to vihara as well as ahara. Vihara is recreation, it's play, it's relaxing, it's can mean sport. Yeah. And so Krishna says yukta vihara, appropriate or balanced or moderate engagement in relaxation, in play. Srila Prabhupada at least once said that our play, our relaxation is kirtan. What do devotees do for sport? They do kirtan. But kirtan is a very broad term. It can include so many things, including drama. The rest of the verse, yukta hara viharasa, yukta cheshtasya karmasu, the endeavor we heard this morning about cheshta rupa bhakti and bhava rupa bhakti from Rupa Goswami. Cheshta means endeavor. It means effort. So, yukta cheshtasya karmasu, with respect to, in regard to karma, action, the endeavor, the work that we do. Again, yukta, let it be balanced, let it be moderate. Don't overdo it, don't underdo it, do the right, do what is the optimum. And then, yukta svapna avabodhasya, and be moderate in sleeping and being awake. Yoga bhavati dukkha. Then there is the removal of dukkha. So we have this nice little formula, but then the question can naturally come, so how do I know what is yukta, what is appropriate, what is balanced, what is not balanced? Well, that's what we learn in the whole process of the whole culture of bhakti, isn't it? We learn from the sadhus, we learn from the shastras, and we learn from the guru, and we also learn from our own experience. And therefore, and we heard also from Satchidananda Swami the importance of experience for having shraddha, for having faith. Unfortunately, I couldn't listen to Bhaktivedanta Tirtha Maharaj's talk on shraddha. What is it? Heroism? Shraddha, heroism? Something.
Hero's journey.
The heroic path of shraddha. Yeah. Such an amazing, such a nice title. So I wasn't able to hear that, but I think we can all agree that experience is important for the cultivation of faith. And it's also important for the better understanding of what is balance in our lives. And to the subject of balance, I always like to refer to the example that the late Dhammakanana Swami used to give of juggling. We have 3 items to juggle. One is our personal maintenance and everything that includes, all kinds of practical things. That's one of the 3 batons, if you like. And the second baton we have to juggle is our sadhana, our daily practices of sadhana bhakti. Whether you're doing Vaidhi sadhana or Raga Nuga sadhana, or a mixture of both. Actually, that's another topic. But they're both sadhana, they're both practice, which means they lead to sadhya, they lead to a destination, to a goal. So those are 2 of the batons, and a third baton. What is the third baton? It's the mission. Yes, we have a mission. The mission to expand our mission. The mission to expand our mission. To welcome more persons, more people into the sadhana, the practice of bhakti, the association of devotees. So we can also think of yukta in those terms, of balancing these 3. And a nice point was made by one gentleman who I was explaining this to, that I think he is an experienced juggler, that when you juggle, and do we have any jugglers here? Experienced jugglers? No jugglers? juggling has gone out of style. So, when you're juggling, where do you focus your attention? Middle. Straight ahead. Back of the head? Oh, okay. Anyway, the point here, the analogy is one is focusing on Krishna in all, with regard to all three, right? So, yeah. So this is the frame. This is the idea of what we want to do, and how we're going to do this is in different ways. And part of this remains to be seen. Now, what I would like to do now is a bit of a icebreaker. You know this expression, icebreaker? Mm-hmm. Taking ice and breaking it. So, but I don't know how well I think we can do it. Those of you with earphones, you'll just have to set them aside for a couple of minutes. Because what I would like you all to do, if you don't mind, is everyone rise, everyone stand up. And now, I'd like you all to go around to each and every other person in the room and just look at them in the eyes and smile and say, Namaste. So I think we can all sit together. What does namaste mean?
Obeisances or something like that. Respect. Obeisances. Respect.
Yeah, literally namas is bending. I bend, I bow to you. Te unto you. Yeah. There was a popular song, Boy George, Bow Down, Mister. Yeah. Anyway, that was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was painless. And huh? Oh, it's too much smiling. Okay, now what I'd like you to do is find someone else, and of course you can do this in your own languages. Find someone who you don't know so well, and just very briefly tell each other your story. Now, what is your story? It could be how you first met devotees. That's an easy one. It could be I was born in such and such place, and whatever story you want to tell, but keep it brief and keep it not too complicated, okay? Because we'd like to, I'll have to see if we can do this, but this is a lot of what we'll do is a bit experimental, have afterwards the one who has listened to report what the one speaking has spoken, but not back, but to us, to everyone. Oh, we're not going to have time for everyone to do this, but maybe a few of you. And here's the interesting thing is that you report what the other person has reported as if you are that person. As if you are that person with the same gestures and the same tone of voice. Now the plot thickens. Namaste, that was easy. Okay. Is that clear, what we're doing? But let's make it with someone you're less familiar with, not just anyone, not just someone you already know so well, okay? That may mean moving around a bit. Okay, this is a bit stretching yourself.
You speak your language? You have to pronounce it.
Yeah.
So it seems we all have stories to tell. That's interesting to think about. How we each have our story, or we have many stories. We have many stories, like, you know what happened to me yesterday? I went to the supermarket and whatever, right? We tell sort of mini stories, and then we have bigger stories, and we have different stories in relation to different people, right? And we have also another story as Vaishnavas, as aspiring Vaishnavas, how we are becoming part of Krishna's story. Yeah, that's the big story. Or how we are becoming part of Lord Chaitanya's story. That's a big story. And we may want to say that's the story we're most interested in, because the other stories, they're important to us in some ways, but will they always be important to us? Anyway, thinking about stories is also leading us into thinking about drama. But before we go there, would anyone like to volunteer to relate to us what you heard from the person you heard? Now I know there's a language issue here. English is not your first language. Is it the first language for anyone here other than me? Okay, nice. But for everyone else, it's second language. But some of you, yeah. Any volunteers, if you can say something in English, so that most of us can understand. Don't all volunteer at once, please. Esther.
If I understood correctly, I try to repeat what she said.
Yes.
Okay.
Or maybe summarize, I don't know. It depends.
It was nice, yes.
Yeah.
So, she first reflected on the... Thank you. So I first was very much amazed with the lecture of Bhaktivinoda Tirtha Maharaj, because he just put into the words what the situation, what is going on internally in me. And he was just putting that steps like analytically that I could also maybe sort it more clearly in my thinking, and maybe it will help me how I will solve the problem. The problem which I'm facing right now is that I want to do some new steps in my life, which scare me. And but as Maharaj was explaining, the growth needs to come. It is better it needs to come it comes voluntarily when we recognize the situation that it is good and that we are invited into a new situation, better than we are forced to, and or out of some suffering. So she said the practical. I said the practical situation is I'm still very, very attached to my kids, and maybe I would have to move where they're studying, and that also implies that I will have to work, and a job maybe that I was not working before, and I'm not sure in this age I am capable of doing it. Maybe it is physically still difficult, and then all the new situation scares me, because before I was always working for myself, and now I will have to work with other people who are not devotees, and this is a new situation for me. And then I also got from senior devotees and from Shiksha Gurus, I got different ideas, different suggestions, and I know I have to do something, but I'm not sure what.
Are you satisfied with her representation?
Maybe I was too long, so the ending is actually that I got the same instruction from the different mentors and Shiksha Gurus, which were actually explained in the different ways, but all are leading to come completely to Krishna conscious life and become Vanaprastha.
All of you who are 50 years old or older, think about that word. And those of you who are not yet 50 years old, you can also start to think about that word. Anyway, thank you. We could say this is a little performance that Esther has done, where she's heard from another and acted as another. In this case, remind me of your good name. Malika, yes. So, anyone else want to try this? Don't all volunteer at once. Any of the gents, everyone is looking at. Okay, dear Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So I came first in contact with the devotees in 1990. There was a concert by the Nityananda band in Yelovak, and I attended the concert and I was quite attracted, but it was not crucial really to join. I just liked it because I hadn't finished yet my secondary school, so it was just transitory. Now the next time, in 1991, when the war started, I happened to come across the science of self-realization in an abandoned house. There were some magazines and there was this book. And I took the book home and I read it. And this kind of sank in a bit more. And then finally, in 1993, when one friend of mine invited me to a program with devotees, that was the breaking point. I really saw and started then also practicing afterwards. Basically, that's it. So that was the beginning.
So that was a little performance also. And that was interesting as a story with 3 stages, right? 3 distinct phases or stages, you can say. First this happened, then that happened, and then this happened, and then it was all, yeah, that's nice. Maybe one more volunteer for this? Yes. What is your name? Yours?
My name is Govindaram.
Huh?
Govindaram.
Govindaram.
I'm being him.
Yes.
So I'm Avaduta Rayadas.
Oh, you made notes. Okay.
Yeah. Right, back in the day, I was attending a musical academy, and one day a friend of mine turned up with a bag wrapped around his hand rather, and I honestly thought he'd injured himself, and asked him what happened. So this particular friend took his beads out of his bag and showed me and explained to me what it was. I, being an Orthodox Christian and coming from a very Orthodox Christian background, practically sneered at him. And when he said that his philosophy came from India, the thought came to my mind that everything from the East belonged to the devil. And so this relationship continued in a very acrimonious way, and after a while, my friend decided not to speak to me anymore and associate with me. And during this 6 months of rejection and neglect, I continued to think about Krishna and Vishnu, and I even went to research Krishna and Vishnu in the encyclopedia, and I found no evidence that Krishna or Vishnu had anything to do with the devil. And after that 6-month period, I changed, and then I decided to go and to live in a temple, and I chose somewhere a long way from my family, and I went. I think Ljubljana he went to. Anyway, he went to Ljubljana, and that's his story, or my story.
Good performance with the help of notes. Yeah. Which reminds me something I like to emphasize for devotees about, drama performance for groups of devotees, for devotee events. A general point I want to make is I think we would all benefit from more performance of dramas in the society of devotees. They really bring devotees together in ways that, of course there's kirtan and so on, but there's something magical about the stage. The stage is, it's a different kind of place. One could say a lot about that, but we don't generally do a whole lot of drama. Why? Because it's time-consuming to organize, and to do a good drama may require memorizing lines, and especially in this age, Manda sumanda matayo mandavadya hi upadruta. This is the age of Kali, when our minds are manda, they're slow. And so we have trouble memorizing lines, unless we are professional actors. So there's a solution. And the solution is to make what can be called radio drama. Radio drama, you've all heard dramas on radio, right? You've heard dramatic performances on the radio. And we all know that they who are doing those dramas are reading the script. We don't see them because it's radio, so you can only hear. But we know they're reading script, and they're reading it dramatically. And a good radio drama may have lots of sound effects and music and so on. But the point I want to make is that one way to do a drama in a group, in an event, is where all the performers have the script right in front of them. And you just introduce to the audience that we're going to do a drama now in this particular way. And if it's been prepared nicely, if it's a nice script, and if the performers have prepared nicely, they can read dramatically. It can be very powerful, and you don't need anything in terms of stage props. And if you have sound or sound effects or whatever, that may be good, but it may not be necessary either. You can also have, instead of sound effects, you can sometimes have someone be a sound, a voice. You can have someone singing, or you can have someone making, appropriate or special or scary sounds. When I was in high school, I joined one drama performance, the whole time only one performance in the drama class, and I don't remember what the drama was about. All I remember is my role was to be a ghost who screams. And I really got the scream down. I really screamed so that everyone really felt a cold shiver go down their spine. Anyway, that's off the subject. But I'm just sort of thinking about the notes. Yes, you can use a script and make a very nice performance, even with a written script. Just keep that in mind. Think of perhaps doing something in your sonatas. Related to this, but with or without script, years ago a devotee explained how so many years before in New York, in the New York temple, this was, I think, their second temple, Henry Street Temple, said they used to have, every Sunday, they would have the Sunday feast program. And he said every Sunday it was packed. People were really coming, especially because every Sunday they would do a little drama. And the drama was always the highlight of the afternoon, evening. They would do, the boatman and the professor drama, or they would do the fish out of the water drama, or there's a few others Srila Prabhupada would tell about. Anyway, that's a little off the topic. Now, I want to shift a little now into Bhagavad Gita, but I would like to ask you now to tell me, someone to tell us, what was your first experience reading Bhagavad Gita? Everyone looks like, my first experience.
Yeah, in my life actually I came first across Perfect Questions, Perfect Answers, then after that was Bhagavatam. So very late came Bhagavad Gita later, and finally I got this Bhagavad Gita and started reading, but I had the impression from the core that would be something very exciting, some war will be there. So I started reading and saw all these names and I thought, wow, this is some preparation. And then I thought, wow, I can't wait for the war. And then I think nothing is happening, and then I just let me see in the middle of the book maybe. And then in the middle of the book is again some philosophy. So I started. That was my first experience with Bhagavad Gita.
Now, wait, take the mic away. We're going to put you a little on the spot now. Can you come up here and how to say, perform what you've just described. We need a book, we need a Bhagavad Gita. Or maybe you can do it without speaking. Or even with, you can speak if you don't want to.
Počinje.
And that was the last time you read Bhagavad Gita. Anyone else? Now that you know, I'm going to ask you to come up here. Hesitant. First time you read Bhagavad Gita? Oh, yes.
Prvi dodir s Bhagavad Gitom je da sam se probudila u spavačici. Neko je zvonio na vrata i ja sam otvorila. I bio je Bhakta s puno knjiga u Sarajevu. I onda sam kupila Bhagavad Gitu. Sestra je kupila savršena pitanja, savršeni odgovori i odmah je otišla. Ja sam ostala i imala sam ušteđeni novac između knjiga. I onda sam je mislila, baš je ovo izdanje bilo srpsko. Ne znam da li razumijem. To je moj prvi susret i kako sam je zagrlila i ona svijetila sam. Odmah sam tako prvi susret i onda sam počela da čitam. U sve sam povjerila. Nisam nikako sumnjala. Sve istina Bhagavad Gita išla dobro. A moram samo reći, svidjelo mi se, prije Bhagavad Gita sam čitala Hermana Hesa, rekli su to je teško, to ne može. Pa baš sam mislila, sad ću sve njegove knjige pročitam. Pa kad sam iza vidjela komentar Herman Hesa, ovo predivno otkrovljenje, ova životna mudrost, ono znači drago nešto nam je potrebno. Dosta je utjecalo to da sam odmah željela tu knjigu. Rekli su da je to Biblija indijska. Bila sretna. Hvala, Đan.
Jai. I wish I could understand. We'll get a purport. Okay. One other. Let's have one more Bhagavad Gita encounter experience. Yes, Govindan. Do you want to just come up front and tell and demonstrate all at once?
Yes.
Why not?
In English
If you ask me.
Actually, my first encounter with Bhagavad Gita was Bhagavad Gita in separation. I'd like to explain how. I was in college, and one of my friends was always very silent. But when he would say something, it would be really meaningful. So we were commuting to the college and back with the tram, and then from time to time he would say something very wise. And I would think for days about these things. At one point I told him, "Where do you find these things, you know?" He says, "I have Science of Self-Realization book and Bhagavad Gita. I read it." That's from that. I said, "Can you borrow?" He said, "No." good guy. He likes others. He's very open, wants to share. And he said, "How do you mean no? No." Then I said, "Okay, can I buy it somewhere?" "No." "How do you mean no?" I bought it on the street from some people, so you can't buy it in the bookshop. You need to have it on the street. "So can you find these people?" He said, "I don't know." I just stepped on, met someone on the street. So it was like for months or two like this. And then we were in the tram, and then he said, "Ah, there are these people, you know, the good people, I already forgot." And then he said, "Bhagavad Gita," and then we got there, and we didn't have enough money. So we gave money, and then we gave these coupons for, students had coupons for food or something like that. So we gave these coupons for food because devotees would buy sometimes yogurt or something with these coupons because it was much cheaper than in so I got to Bhagavad Gita, and first I read Science of Self-Realization, then I felt I'm not a dinosaur anymore, my people are not extinguished, there's still such people who think similar as I think, and I was very happy, but when I started reading Bhagavad Gita, it was the first canto, and I was like, and it was summer, it was June, and I was like, come on, these names and everything, I can't survive this. But then the second chapter was better, I started some philosophy. I understood maybe 1/10 of what was in, but I liked it very much. I'm reading it since.
Bhagavad Gita in separation. You even had a title for your presentation. That's very good. So now we're talking about Bhagavad Gita. Yesterday evening, I mentioned that one theme that I want to weave into this subject of yoga, the art of play, is the idea of leadership. Leadership. Oh my God, what is he talking about? I'm not sure. What? You want to talk about leadership and you don't even know how you want to involve us in this topic? Well, I mentioned that we have a book which is going to help us, but before we go there, I just want to suggest, just to drop an idea into your mind. And this idea is that every one of us here are, in one way or another, leaders. And the question could be, how can we become better leaders? And how might reading and hearing and studying the Bhagavad Gita help us to become better leaders? And this might also raise questions about becoming leaders in a greater sphere of influence than we are presently leaders. Hare Krishna, that's okay, that's all very abstract. Maybe a way to start this discussion is just briefly, what thought first comes to mind, or maybe just single words. And here we have a language issue again. What words do you associate with the word leader or leadership? This is free association of word association. If you think of a word in Ruski, we can get it translated. Yes, next time.
First word, I think about improvement.
Improvement, good, okay. Yes.
Example.
Hmm?
Example.
Example, okay.
Frontman.
front man. Okay. Harry Truman, who was one of the former presidents of the U.S., said, "The buck stops here." He had a sign on his desk. It's a slang way of saying he's the final person to complain to. It's humility, okay, qualities of a good leader. Yes.
Tyranny.
Tyranny. Okay. Ooh, okay. You go from humility to tyranny. That's quite a jump. Possibility. Responsibility. Yes. Perfect servant. Okay.
Knowledge and empathy.
Knowledge and empathy. Good, very good. Yes.
Good organization.
Good organization. Okay. Again,
Care for people.
care for people. Yes.
Innovation.
Innovation. How do you say in Serbian, innovation?
Innovation.
I thought so. Innovation. I thought so. I knew there was another word I know in Serbian language. Innovation. Yes.
Encouragement of talents.
Encouragement of talents. Good. Yes. Yes.
Motivated others. To motivate others.
Motivating others. Yes. Okay. And back here.
Integrity and then authority.
Integrity and authority. Okay.
Vision giver.
Vision giver. Yes. Govinda is full of
Good follower.
good follower. Okay. We have a lot of ideas here.
Influencer. Somebody who is influencing others.
Influencer. Yes, nowadays that's a big word in social media. Influence. Yes.
Confidence.
Confidence. Yes, very good. Okay, we have some ideas. Now what I would like to do, and this is really experimental, I need 3 volunteers to come up. 3 volunteers to come here. You have no idea what I'm going to ask you to do, so you're all not me! Not me, thank you. 3. 3. 1. Okay, 1, 2. Okay, 3. Now, one of you is Krishna. You're Krishna, okay. One of you is Arjuna. You'll be Arjuna, okay. And the third of you are a sculptor.
Sculptor.
Yeah, but not that kind of sculptor. I have to explain. She's already performed. Wait. Slow down. Let me explain first. In French language, there is an expression, tableau vivant. Anyone know this? Tableau vivant. Huh? A living picture. As Shachinanda Swami would say, you know everything. You speak French. So, tableau vivant. We want to make a tableau vivant with our bodies. And you're the sculptor, and you are the living, I don't want to just say bodies, but that's kind of how it is. And we want to make it, what are we doing? we want to get an expression of the essential mood in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. He's gonna. You want to get an expression. So your job is to direct them how to stand or sit or whatever. And I would say you can play flute. Krishna has a flute. Okay, I mean, but that's up to him to decide whether you play the flute or not. Krishna wants to insist on playing flute. Okay. Yes, you can arrange, but you know, we're not. If you were all men, then I could say you could physically put this arm here and that there, but they're ladies, so we will only do in a nice, decent, how to say it, a nice way. Okay. So what do you want them to do? You have to tell them how to. Where? You should be completely passive and sorry. Just to get into the issues. Yeah, anyway, let's see how it works. Yes.
Krishna, you can play a flute and hold your feet like feet. And Arjuna, you can go on your wagon and have this in the hands for the boss.
In the Bhagavad Gita, it's Krishna who is driving the chair.
She's taking away from Krishna.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Whoa. That's interesting. You're driving the chariot and playing the flute at the same time. She's Krishna, she can do that. No problem. So let's okay. So that's interesting, but I'm not sure you quite got the idea. I think you've read the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Yeah? You're familiar with the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita? Oh, okay. This is the problem. Well, let's leave that and let's ask for 3 other volunteers. Now that we know what we're doing. Okay? Thank you. Three other volunteers. Now you really know what you don't want to do, right? Okay, yes, go ahead. You're being volunteered. You're volunteering each other. That's interesting. Okay, he's always ready for some adventure. Okay, who is Krishna? Who is Arjuna? Who is the sculptor?
artist.
He's an artist. You're an artist.
He's called.
Yes, you're the sculptor.
To arrange them in the...
Yes, arrange them to express what is the prevailing mood of the first chapter of the Gita. Remind, as a hint, the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita is sometimes called Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Arjuna Vishada Yoga. The yoga of despair. Yeah, you're getting tips. Go ahead.
Okay, so you have... Please, Krishna, you decide. Yeah, you're good. Now Arjuna would be in despair with his trembling bow. We are happy.
Yeah,
Or it's a live picture.
It's a live picture, but they're just they're like clay. And all you have to do is position them.
So you need to sit down. You need to sit down. You're standing, you're asking him for different poses. So maybe it's also about to sit. Stand. Okay.
You're holding the bow which dropped from your hand.
And you are compassionately looking at Arjuna. More compassion. You're telling the instruction.
Okay, now, that's good. Oh, there we go. All right. Wait, don't move. Now, let's shift slowly to chapter 2, verse number 7. Karpanya dosho bhavatasvabhava. So this is where Arjuna is requesting Krishna to be his guru. You're the sculptor.
We have a very talented. Yes.
That's it? Okay. All right. And now let's jump to the 11th chapter for a moment. And Arjuna has requested Krishna to reveal his universal form. Yes, you can add. Very good. Okay, thank you. Yeah, this is fun. So, this is called, Tableau Divan. There's actually a tradition in India called Jhanki, which is the same thing. It's a tableau, and it may involve many persons, and they'll be all dressed up in appropriate costumes, and they'll display, for example, Rasa Lila or whatever, and they'll be in a frozen position, and people will come and they will take darshan. So it's like they're having darshan of a deity. This is one interesting way of performing and playing, so to say. But to jump back briefly before we end for today, and I want to, yes, before I end, I want to remember, before I forget, I hope that you will all come tomorrow, because we're going to take further steps, and in these further steps, we're going to ask you to do a bit of writing. And so, if you could bring some paper and something to write with, yes. Sorry, Kunda's already. If you could bring something to write with tomorrow, that would be good. That would be helpful. We want to. One thing I would like to do is rewrite. This may shock you a little bit. To rewrite a verse of Bhagavad Gita. To rewrite, yes, to rewrite. We'll discuss that tomorrow. For now, I want to share with you, because we've brought up the subject of leadership, and we have seen now from chapter 1 what is the Bhagavad Gita. It's a discussion of Krishna and Arjuna, a dialogue of Krishna and Arjuna. And we might want to say that both of them are leaders, isn't it? They're both leaders. Now, in this last moment of this last scene, we saw where Arjuna is approaching Krishna to be his leader. But Krishna is going to speak to Arjuna in a way which, one way to read the Bhagavad Gita is he's teaching Arjuna how to be a leader. Well, we are all reading Bhagavad Gita, and Krishna and Srila Prabhupada would sometimes refer to the Bhagavad Gita as the ABCs of spiritual life. What does he mean by that?
Basic. Basic.
Basic, yeah. We all go to school in the first year of primary school. We start to learn to read and write. We learn our ABCs. How do you say in Serbian? ABC. Yeah. No?
It's like it was certain.
Anyway, you get the idea. So sometimes we think, yeah, this is the ABCs, and I've read the Bhagavad Gita. I managed to get past chapter 1 with all the names of the warriors, and even though it's not about, it's not describing war, I've read the whole Bhagavad Gita now, and I've read Srila Prabhupada's commentaries, so I know what's in the Bhagavad Gita. So don't tell me about Bhagavad Gita, okay? I know. It's the ABCs. I know how to read, I know how to write, I know how to write my name. But actually, it's good for us to always come back to the Bhagavad Gita. And make sure that we know the ABCs. And one way I believe that we can appreciate the Bhagavad Gita is as a teaching of so many lessons on leadership. to get a better sense of how we, all of us, potentially can be leaders. We already are leaders. How can we be better leaders? I mentioned yesterday that I take lessons myself from this very nice book of Sri Prahlad Prabhu, Leadership Lessons from the Bhagavad Gita, which was published by a very significant publisher, Sage Publishers. And in the end of each of the chapters, which are the chapters on the Gita, he gives a summary of leadership lessons. Would you like to hear one of the lessons from the first chapter? Yes. No? Yes. Okay. You should know your strengths and limitations as a leader, and be open to take support from those who are experts in areas where you are challenged or weak. This second part takes support from those who are experts in the areas where you are challenged or weak. I remember many years ago in Singachalam, Germany, the farm. We were all new, totally new to farming. I wasn't myself involved in farming, I was pujari. But the farmers, they kind of all thought, we know everything about farming because we're devotees. Wait a minute. Just because you're a devotee doesn't mean you know how to farm. It took some years for the devotees to get a little bit of humility to recognize that maybe, just maybe, they could learn something about farming from their neighbors, the neighbor farmers. What a radical thought. So now, I explain this, and you, for all of you, you recognize this is obvious. But sometimes we might not recognize that we could benefit from expertise in something. We can learn from others. And these others may or may not be devotees, depending on what it is that we want to accomplish. Again, this may be very obvious, but it's good to keep in mind. The first part, he says, you should know your strengths and limitations. Now, knowing our strengths and knowing our limitations can be a matter of experimentation. We may not know that we have some strength until we try. If we assume I know my strengths and limitations prematurely, we may lose opportunities to act in a leadership position. And coming back to this idea of being pulled, the Bhagavad Gita, I would suggest, is inviting us, like Arjuna, to be pulled by Krishna, to be invited into a position where we might not otherwise go. In other words, Krishna is inviting us to take risks, to do something we may not know that we can do. So we discover then that we may have a strength that we didn't know we had. Now you're all looking at me like, I don't believe it. Well, I'll leave that with you to reflect on. The second point that is made by Krishna, summarized, is your test as a true leader is whether you remain committed to observing spiritual principles in all contexts. So of course we make commitments, especially when we take shelter of Guru, when we accept vows of initiation. So this is talking about this in terms of leadership. The test of leadership is whether we can remain committed to spiritual principles, not only in the comfortable situations, but also the uncomfortable or unexpected situations. He goes on, spiritual principles in all contexts, there being no context in which you show lack of diligence. You know the word diligence? Diligence means persistent, persistent. Keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. No context in which you show lack of diligence in striving to uphold, to keep up virtue or dharma. Does that make sense? So in every condition, you just keep going with your determination. So this is explained further, but I'm just giving you a touch of this for now. So, okay, we want to think about the Gita in terms of leadership. We want to also do some acting, some drama, and to make things a little more complicated, we want to bring in some help from Krishna in his different avatars. And you may well know that there are 10 prominent avatars. What are the 10 avatars? Actually, there's different lists, but what are the 10 avatars? Nrsimha? Okay. Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Rama, Buddha, Balaram, Kalki, Balaram, we got Parashuram, Varaha, Vamana. We got 10? Okay. Krishna is avatari. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to, with the help of Mahajala and Anuradha, we're going to see how we're going to bring the 10 avatars into all of this. And we're going to then aim toward having a performance, a grand performance of the 10 avatars in some way or other. We have to see in the last evening of our camp. What do you think? Is that a good idea? Will you all take part? Some of you are. Well, you're invited to take part. I'll leave that. Okay. So our time is so please. I don't know if we have the same schedule tomorrow. I'm assuming it will be, as we'll be hearing announcements. We'll see. thank you all so much, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow, if at all possible. Shila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Gaur Premanande.